Gold plating this way is so easy. Biff, pow, zap, clunk, clunk, ouchie. Hey guys. A few weeks ago, I looked at the fairly typical means of electroplating, often termed the bath plating method, and whilst I found this relatively simple, it's a little involved and the associated equipment is expensive. However, a more affordable approach is pen plating, and Pepetools have very kindly sent me their digital pen plating station to have a look at. Now, whilst this isn't cheap, it's considerably more affordable than most bath plating systems, and using it is an absolute doddle, as you'll see. I've discussed electroplating with you guys a couple of times now, so I don't really want to go into any great detail. But in essence, an electrical current is typically passed through an electrolyte solution to strip atoms from a sacrificial metal and deposit these upon another, forming a thin coating. With pen plating, however, there's no bath solution, and the anode is connected to the pen. The pen is dipped in an appropriate solution which contains the plating material of choice, and when touched to the cathode connected material, a thin coating is deposited. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I've never really liked the idea of pen plating. I've always imagined it would be awkward and cumbersome and, all in all, not very good. But let's wait and see. You get 3 small containers with screw-top lids. Here's the pen, which comes with 3 replaceable nibs. And of course, the plating station itself, which does look pretty funky. There's a slider control at the bottom to adjust the voltage. There's also 2 connector ports on either side. Finally, there's the power adapter, which in this case has the US style connector, I think. I believe there's other more suitable connectors for Europe and the UK, but as a YouTuber, I'm used to this, and so I have this affordable international power adapter, which I bought on Amazon ages ago. The power adapter is connected to the largest port. This cathode cable, which has a crocodile clip on one end, is inserted into the adjacent port. On the other side, there are 2 ports, and the pen can be inserted to either of these, as this station can accommodate 2 pens at once. With the power connected, LEDs inside bring this attractive unit to life, and fiddling with the slider control allows us to vary the voltage. Now, there's no hard and fast rule when it comes to this. This unit can go from 1.2 volts to 18.6, and the voltage you need often depends on the object you're plating. A recommended voltage is often stated on the plating solution, which in this case is Penpal's 24 karat gold solution. Now, whilst this does have literature included, there's nothing specified about voltage. And as I'm guessing, I'll roughly split the range difference and go with 8 volts, adjusting it if I feel it's necessary. It's also critical to note that the solutions you purchase must be pen solutions. If you already have bath plating solutions, these won't work as the composition is different, so choose your solutions with care. I've transferred a small quantity of the solution to one of these provided containers, which is good practice. These solutions aren't cheap, and if I contaminate one somehow, it's better to spoil a small amount than the whole bottle. As with most things, preparation is key. I've pulled out a few silver pieces here, which I've made in the past. Electroplating is very, very thin, so each of these needs to be polished to a finish standard right now, as mechanical polishing is typically enough to remove metal plating finishes. These are then washed in ordinary soap and water, rinsed in distilled water, and finally cleaned using alcohol. I'm using ethanol, but you could use acetone, IPA, methylated spirits, etc. The aim is to remove all dirt and grease, as this will prevent proper plating. Even the grease from your fingerprints will spoil things, so from here on, gloves are worn at all times. Now I'm ready, I can insert one of the nibs into the pen. This is pushed in firmly, making sure that it seats properly. And notice that I'm wearing gloves to avoid contaminating the nib. The pen can then be safely stored in one of these 4 ports. In the same way, the plating solution fits neatly into place. You may have seen me sandcasting this coin a few weeks ago, and this is the item I'm going to start with, as, if I'm honest, I'm not all that fond of it and don't care what happens to it. The crocodile lead must be connected to the object being plated. Then it's just a case of dipping the pen and getting on with it. Now that is working instantly. Because of the light and the angle, it might not be very clear to you, but I can see this working straight away. Remember, the solution contains a coating material, so you will reach a point where you see nothing happening anymore. At that point, all you need to do is re-dip the pen. You might be able to see small bubbles at the end of the nib, and that is perfectly normal. And when you're ready, just remove the crocodile clip and place it onto an already coated area, and then more plating. Again, this doesn't look that remarkable on camera, probably because of the roughness of the surface, but in reality, it's very impressive. I decided to have a go with the shield pendant, which has also been sand casted. The cathode is connected, of course, and I'll pick out the shield boss and maybe some studs. Once again, it's working very well, but the camera isn't necessarily picking this up due to the roughness of the surface, I think. I'm going to have a go with this raven skull ring which I've made. Now that's much easier to see working, probably because it's a smoother piece. I'm delighted with this result. In honesty, it was so much easier to do than I expected. Finally, I thought I'd have a go at this Anglo-Saxon ring. I'm going to try and pick out just the lion. The lights may be playing tricks again, but I'm very impressed with that. The gold colouring is very uniform and strong, just what I wanted. So there you go guys, my first ever attempt at pen plating, and I have to say it's a roaring success, much better than I expected. I know there are various systems available out there, but I can only speak about the ones that I've used, which in this case is by Pepetools. And I have to say, it's a very nice quality item that's every bit as good as its looks suggest. I appreciate that it's not the cheapest item out there, but Pepetools have generously offered to give my viewers a 10% discount using the code you see on the screen right now. And I believe that international sales are welcomed from this US-based company. And so that's it for this one guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. And thanks for watching.